So, is stuttering, stammering, curable? As Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, in both cases you're right. This is exactly the same situation if you believe, maybe based on your own previous experiences, that it's not curable, then I would leave you in this belief it's true for you. But if you believe that there must be another way that leads you to that emotional state of freedom where you can speak on your terms and truly enjoy it, then stay with me. If you look around, you can find so many examples of people who stutter: actresses, actors, sportsmen, TV hosts, singers, performers, and even the US President Joe Biden. They all admit and they share that openly, that yes, they suffered from stuttering, but they seemingly overcame it. Or if you don't like the word overcame it, you can clearly tell that stuttering is not stopping them in their lives from perceiving their dreams, from accomplishing and achieving what they want.
Stuttering is curable.
So a very legitimate question here: how can I do that? So the first thing that comes to our mind when we think about stuttering cure is there must be some tool, some technique, some trick, maybe a pill, maybe shift of the mindset, but there must be something that leads me to that new state of freedom. So when you go to speech therapy or to a speech program for stuttering, you expect you're looking for those stuttering techniques, speech exercises for stuttering, yes, and mindset shifts as well. So you're looking for the right one. Please give me the right one that truly works. So we expect that stuttering cure is all about choosing the right tools. And yes, the tools matter, but what usually happens is that we try something, stuttering technique, or a magic breathing exercise, or a magic mindset shift, and we see that it doesn't work. So it didn't work, give me the next one. We're trying the next one, it didn't work, let's go to the next one. The next one worked a little bit, good stuff, but still it's not what I want. So give me another one, please. And it's an endless process. And what happens, we say to ourselves internally, like, yeah, probably we can manage stuttering to some extent, but that's all we can do, so it's simply not curable. Well, I want to notice here that, for example, I run a Free from Stutter Facebook group, and there are many members, my students as well. And what is so cool about the group is that people are sharing different tools they used. And they show the tools, and you can tell that you've never used such a tool. I've never used such a tool, but they achieve great results. The same way those people have never used my tools or the tools that I use with my students. Well, and we also achieve great results. So you might be very puzzled here, like, what? Completely different tools achieving the same great results. Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say here. So the tools matter, but the real change is not so much about the tools, it's about the gap between using the tools at home, like practicing in the therapy room maybe. So practicing the tools in a very safe environment with yourself, and real life pace, real life pressure, the environment of real life everyday interaction. There's a huge gap. So this whole division between Curable or not curable is all about how clear you are about closing this gap between learning the tools and the real life. And I'll share with you 3 activities, 3 skills, if you would, that you want to master that will lead you inevitably, if you do those consistently, inevitably they will get you to the result that you want, which is being able to use those techniques, those tools in real life so that you can feel that you can speak on your terms. You can feel there is no anxiety, there's no pressure. You can be authentic, you can be present, you can truly enjoy speaking interaction. And if you're not doing those 3 activities, if you're not mastering those 3 skills, unfortunately, no matter how brilliant, how perfect your technique or tool is, you're not getting any closer. So, the 3 activities. The first one, I call it performance. It's basically practicing your techniques or any other tools that you've chosen in a public speaking environment. Like, for example, with my students, we have a small group where they do the assignments, and it's already a bit of a public speaking environment. Somebody can watch you live at the same time I'm watching my students, obviously. So even though it's a very safe environment, it still feels like public speaking. We also have a bigger group, the Free from Stutter Facebook group, where potentially like thousands of people can watch your presentation. And it's a little scarier, but still it's a very safe environment. It's a private group for people who stutter. So if you're not a member, you can join the group and you can practice your tools, whatever they are, in a very safe environment. We have a speaking club in the group where we get together like once in a while, and it's a real group environment. So there are different ways how you can do that, but you want to make sure that you have some secure space, which is secure on the one hand, but it feels like public speaking environment on the other hand. And what's so magic about this performance feeling is that you're getting on stage, the mic is yours, and you practice your tools, obviously, but you also feel, that's the most important thing, that only you set the terms, how you actually speak. No one is pushing you, no one is pressing you. You truly decide. And it can be a tiny little introduction, 1 phrase, 2 phrases. It can be longer speaking on a topic for several minutes. It doesn't matter. You can regulate that and choose whatever you like, and you can evolve, you can develop with this, but you want to make sure that you're consistently getting access to this feeling that this is your mic and you choose, you decide. And it's also a great way to explore the tools. It's not an exam, so you can see how the tool is working, what's not working. And yes, it's also a great test for your tools if you really like the tools, because if you don't like them, you won't use them. The next activity that you want to master is disclosure. And by disclosure, I personally don't mean disclosure of stuttering or the fact that you are a person who stutters. Like with my students, we don't say I'm a person who stutters, we say I'm in a speech program for stuttering, so my speaking might be a little different, or it might be a little slower. Even though maybe it's not slower, maybe it's not that different, but this way we want to make sure we give ourselves permission. You give yourself permission to use the tools in real life settings. To use those tools with your close friend, with your family members, with your coworkers, with your boss, like in a new environment, everywhere. You are able to easily, like this, boom, disclose, it's not a big deal, but you're able to use the tools. And yes, once you've mastered the skill, you don't need disclosure anymore because you are actually using the tools. They are the central part of your everyday speaking. And if you're not able to disclose, if you haven't disclosed, if you're not disclosing, if it's not easy, if it's, no way, I cannot do it, then guess what? You automatically shift to trying to be regular, trying to be normal, trying to be like everyone else, trying to be fluent. You're instantly shifting to the identity that where you don't belong. And this identity shift is one of the core things you want to think about. Once you have the tools, once you sat on this path of learning and applying the tools in real life, you're no longer a person who stutters. You're no longer a fluent person. Maybe that's what or who you were trying to be. You were trying to pretend. You were trying to present yourself as a regular fluent person. You sat on the middle path. Not a fluent person, not a person who stutters, but a person who is learning, exploring, and using, applying those tools in real life. And yes, you accept the fact that you stutter this way, you disclose this fact this way, but ironically, maybe you never stutter this way. The third skill you want to master, the third activity you want to do is proactively creating real-life, everyday speaking interactions and recording yourself. The magic of the recording is that you're bringing that practice mode, this learning and exploration into real life. The real life at that point, real life interaction is not a test, it's not an exam, I have to be fluent. It's more about, okay, what do I feel at that point? How do I bring that great feeling that I feel when I practice in the therapy room, at home, whatever it is for you, to that real life moment of high pressure, time pressure, maybe emotional pressure. So we want to feel the same, exactly the same way in real life settings. So if you're not doing those three activities, if you're not mastering those, if you feel like, oh, why would I do it? I practice at home. Please get in my subconscious mind and maybe change something there. I don't want to do that performance, that disclosure, those recordings. You know, I can speak. I know how to speak. Do I really need that stupid stuff? So if it feels this way for you, if that is you right now, then in this current state, let's be honest, there is no cure for you right now. Yes, I can get it. I think we need to acknowledge that that's how this thinking goes when we think about stuttering treatment. I'm getting to the doctor, in this case speech therapist, and I'm expecting like a pill. Give me a pill, a medicine. Maybe there is a device or an app that I can use. And I have a separate video about medications, apps, devices. Of course, we don't want to give away the power to those things. And you might say, yeah, okay, give me that magic tool. Give me that magic breathing exercise or anything. And yes, that's what many therapists are thinking about. Like, I'm giving you the tools. I've given you the tools. Now go apply those tools. Parents who have kids who stutter also sometimes think in terms of the therapist should give the tools to my kid and then the kid can apply those in real life. And yes, we people who stutter also think in these terms. For example, you can take a look at a beautiful TEDx talk by Megan Washington. I'll give the link to this interview in the description. So she's a singer who stutters as well. And she says, I know the tools. She says, I even apply them sometimes. And you can't imagine how many people who stutter I've seen, I've met, who have the same idea, like I've learned the tools so that I know them, I can apply them sometimes, and this sometimes is killing me because what's the point of learning the tools if you're not going to apply them every day in every speaking interaction? If you're not clear how those tools become your everyday speaking. So this is a real question for you. Are you ready to learn to master those 3 activities I told you about? Performance, disclosure, proactively creating and recording real-life interactions. Are you ready to go this path from learning those tools and techniques to actually feeling you're able to speak in your real life this new way? And to finally feel in your real life interactions that speaking is relaxing, it's effortless, it can be expressive. Are you ready for that? And you might be very pumped up, optimistic, motivated. Yeah, I'll do it. But if you give yourself a thought for more than 5 seconds, a good reminder about Mel Robinson and her 5-second rule. So if you think about it more than 5 seconds, your fear, a lot of fear, are going to kick in. And it will find a million reasons why it's not right, it's not a good idea, I'm not ready. It will find a way to make sure you're staying stuck where you are. Because fear protects you. It wants you to stay safe. Yet staying safe in that bubble, in that comfort zone, that box, in that cave, that cage is not safe at all. It's dangerous. That's what makes stuttering so powerful. This longing for safety and protection, that's what lets stuttering really rule our life. So the fact that there is no cure for stuttering doesn't mean that stuttering is not curable. And yes, as I said, we all are looking for some tools, and they do matter, but it's like 10%. We're finding the tool, and it's not a magic pill. It's more like a huge, nice doorway, and you open it expecting, what is there? What is there? And there is just a path and a sign. It says, go there. And you go like, really? Where's the miracle? Where's the cure? No. You close the door, you go to another one. You open that one, and there is a path and a sign. Go there. And as I said, we can keep closing those doors and look for another tool, another thing that can change my speaking. But the truth is, what makes stuttering curable is that process, is that path that you need to go through, go along, from learning the tools to actually applying easily, with ease, those tools in real life. And there are 3 major things that are stopping you from going that path. The first thing that is stopping us from going that path is disbelief in the process. Like I'm giving you the bricks and I say, okay, let's lay the bricks and build this beautiful building together. And you look at the bricks, you look at the building, you say, the bricks, the building, no way, just give me the building. We don't believe how it can be that simple. Like, I'm just putting the bricks together, yeah, and you create that building. All people who stutter who I worked with, they're amazed how simple the tools are. Like, for example, I'm teaching the hand technique. We're just feeling how to relax, how to start the first sound, how to feel the connections, how to split or speak into pieces, how to make it expressive. But the basic tools are very simple. They are the same. They stay the same. It's not some rocket science. Anyone can do that. So when we recognize this fact, how simple that is, this protection mechanism works. Like, no way. It cannot be that simple. It should be complicated. It is. much more complicated. So yeah, our brain wants to protect us, as I told you, so we tend to overcomplicate things. Because if it's that simple, it's all about me creating those presentations, performing, making the disclosure, creating real-life interactions. No, why? We don't quite believe that it's that simple, because if that's that simple, it's all about me doing that stuff, doing that work, doing that performance, like exposing myself. So the second thing that is stopping us on this path is disbelief in ourselves, which is basically fear. So you imagine this: I need to present in front of other people. I need to go live and everyone will see me. No why. I need to disclose. No why. I need to record and create that, approach strangers and record that. No why. We feel that I simply cannot handle it deep inside. And if you think you are unique in this sense, no, you're not. Every person who stutters feels the same way. It feels absolutely impossible. It feels that I'm simply gonna die. A great analogy, a great example where you can sense that is a cold shower. And I'm preaching about cold showers. I'm asking my students to do cold showers step by step. And it's amazing how you proceed on that path. And you start with your feet with that cold, freezing cold water. Then you get to your knees, and that's where you feel the threshold, like the limit. It feels so cold. It feels impossibly cold. So what you do, you stop there. And as you proceed, as you do it a bit longer, then you go a bit higher to the thighs, to your hands, gradually getting to your head and whole body. And after that, when you get back to your knees, guess what? You feel nothing. The knees, compared to your whole body, it just feels like really like a breeze. No sensations about the knees at all. The same way the first live presentation, tiny short introduction, a couple of phrases. It feels like such a big deal. The first disclosure feels like my heart is just jumping out of my chest. The first approaching strangers feels like I'm gonna die. But once you've done it like 10 times, and you go to the next level, and you look back to those initial interactions, initial things that seem totally impossible, and well, you don't feel anything about those things anymore. So those internal walls, invisible walls, they are very real. Fear makes those walls very real. The only way to break those walls is through action. Like you're in the dark room and you think about the monster in the room, it's gonna be there as long as the room is dark. When you turn on the light and you see actually there is no monster, then the monster disappears. But as long as you live in the dark room, there is a monster. It's absolutely real there. The third thing that is stopping us, that is standing on this path from learning the tools and actually using them freely, easily in real life, is your ego. And that's maybe the biggest one, because you can accept everything, but then you go like, who are you to teach me how to speak? I know how to speak. I can speak. Again, get into my subconscious and fix it. No, there is no cure, and I cannot fix anything in your mind, in your brain. Yes, we tend to be a little of perfectionists, looking for that perfect technique or perfect tool. It simply doesn't exist. Your path to your freedom from stuttering is through imperfect action. And yes, we tend to overcomplicate things. Give me something magical. I mean, it cannot be that simple. Yes, the process is very simple. Just practice consistently those 3 activities that I gave you, explained, I showed, and I guarantee you're going to get to the end result that you want. The process is simple, yet I'm not saying it's easy. Disbelief in the process, your fear, your ego, these are very powerful, more powerful than you think. Letting go of those can be a truly life-changing experience. So, to sum up, most people will find that stuttering is not curable. And ironically, those are the people who are looking for a cure. And yes, there is no cure, so stop looking for one. What makes stuttering curable is clarity about the process, how you go from learning the tools to actually easily applying them in real life. So a great idea is to find someone who can guide you along that path. And yes, I'm here to help. Who helps you to get to that destination and to find out that stuttering is curable. So for more videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. To go deeper into how you can make stuttering curable, head over to freefromstutter.com. Jump into my free training where I go deeper into that process. For more interaction, join the Free From Stutter Facebook group. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.